So you don't need to wait for a new year, a new month, a new week. Start where you are. Start now. As I introduced in our long video last time, talking about introducing this entire concept of New Year's resolutions and how to keep them, our first habit to healthy in a year begins with welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer, where armor is forged through mental, spiritual, and physical preparation. Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer, my friends. It is a pleasure and honor to join with you again today. Today begins the first video that we are going to implement the Habits to Healthy in 1 Year protocol. What this means is that in addition to our regular podcast videos that you're going to get every single Monday, as always here at First Responder Fitness, every single month you are going to get an additional shorter video like this one that focuses on our New Year's resolutions, that focuses on what we are calling habits to healthy in 1 year. If you were a part of our premiere showing last week, we introduced the concept of New Year's resolutions and why so many people fail to keep them. We talked about the fact that roughly 50% of the world's population makes New Year's resolutions. But by the second week of February, the overwhelming majority of people have already failed in their resolutions. By June, which is mid-year, 92% of people who make New Year's resolutions have failed. 92%. I also talked about the fact that less and less people each year are making New Year's resolutions. And is there any wonder why? I mean, when you consider the fact that 92% of people fail at keeping their resolutions by June, it's no wonder people give up on New Year's resolutions. They just simply get tired of not keeping their commitment to themselves. They have all these starry-eyed ideas. The new year is so exciting for people, and they have all these new ideas and all these grandiose plans, but they don't keep them. They don't carry them out. That changes now. I promise you that if you follow along with First Responder Fitness for 1 year, a year from now, you're going to look back and be shocked at all of the healthy habits and resolutions you have kept. You see, I laid out in that last video a bullseye, a target of resolutions and how we keep resolutions and how we keep habits. And Bill, I laid out how it's not what you want to do. It is the structure and the framework that you need to create in order to make sure that you keep your commitments to yourself. I talked about the pros and the cons of New Year's resolutions. I talked about why they fail and what we can do to make them more successful. And so I encourage you to go back and watch that video because I lay out so many different things, and it really lays the groundwork for these shorter Habits to Healthy in 1 Year videos. But ultimately, I want to help you to grasp the vision here. If you are joining us in January of 2025, or really close to the new year, think about this for just a minute. If you follow along with First Responder Fitness every single month for the next 12 months, we're going to be in December of 2025, and you'll be sitting there looking back at your year, and you will be shocked at how much you have changed. The choice is yours. The time's going to pass regardless. The next 12 months it's going to pass whether you join us or not, whether you are successful or not, whether you create healthy habits that will last a lifetime or not. You might as well join along with us. These are easy. It's easy if you just join with us and you start doing what I call habit stacking. If you start stacking these habits every single month right along with us at First Responder Fitness, at the end of 12 months, you are going to be healthier, happier, more fit, and you're going to be so glad that you followed along with us. So you know what? Share this video with a friend. Bring a friend along with you. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss another episode. And let's get right into it. The first thing I want to bring your attention to is the fact that every single one of our social media, every one of our social media platforms now has a link to our link tree. In the link tree, you will see links to PDFs of our Habits to Healthy in 1 year. This is all free, downloadable information. We will continue to upload information that will be beneficial to you each and every month. And it's going to be under the Habits to Healthy in 1 year link. You will see the month summary, what you need to prepare for that month, and that month's habit that you're going to stack, the habit for success. You will also see a store, a First Responder Fitness store, which takes you to links in at Amazon where you can make purchases that will help you to succeed at these particular habits each month. You don't have to buy anything, but we certainly encourage you that if you don't have any of the things or you're going to purchase some of these things, that you go through our link tree to help support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything more, but it does give us a little bit of credibility with Amazon and in the social media world. So, getting right into our first habit. And again, you could start in January, but what if you're watching this in June of 2025? Are you out of luck? Absolutely not. Every single one of these habits to healthy in 1 year, can be implemented and begun at any time. You could start this in June, and you could end the following June, and you'll be just as successful as you ever were. So you don't need to wait for a new year, a new month, a new week. Start where you are. Start now. So, as I introduced in our long video last time, talking about introducing this entire concept of New Year's resolutions and how to keep them, our first habit to healthy in a year begins with drinking more water. That's simple, right? You're like, come on. It's got to be more than that. There has to be more than that. I can do this. No. We are starting with the very basics. I promise you. Don't get ahead of us. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get in your own way by thinking this isn't going to make a difference, because drinking more water is one of the top 3 or 4 things you can absolutely do. It is one of the top 3 or 4 things that you must do if you want to get into condition and get into shape, if you want to gain muscle and lose fat. This is a non-negotiable. You have to do this. So start drinking more water. How do we do that? Well, first and foremost, understand this. I have talked about this before in previous videos, but I'm going to mention it again here. I encourage you to go back and watch other videos so that you know what we're talking about here. But in order to build muscle, you need certain things. Basically, you need 4 things. First of all, you need water. Muscle is made of mostly water, so you need water. You need protein, okay? You need energy, and you need a stimulus. Energy comes from the food you eat. The stimulus is lifting weights. If you want to build muscle, the first thing you need is more water. You want to lose fat, you need more water. You want to cut down on the amount of calories that you're drinking, drink more water. How much should you drink? A decent rule of thumb is a minimum amount of water is half of your ounces, half of your body weight in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you would drink a minimum of 100 ounces of water per day. You're not going to drink 100 ounces of water a day if you don't think about it. So I suggest that you go to our bio in the YouTube or Spotify or wherever you're watching this or listening to this. Go to our link tree, go to the store and purchase yourself a water bottle of at least 24-ounce capacity. I have this big water bottle. It's about 34 ounces, and I drink several of those a day. I stay hydrated. I tell my athletes that I train that if you're yellow, if your pee is bright yellow, or if it's yellow, you're not drinking enough. That's a good rule of thumb, but let's just start off with this. Drink at least half of your body weight in ounces of water every single day. Every day, without fail. I was talking to a friend a few weeks ago, and she was telling me how she does not drink enough water. She struggles drinking water in the winter, and she doesn't think she drinks enough. And I was talking to her about her hematocrit levels and her hemoglobin levels in her body and how they were kind of out of whack, and certain other things in her blood work was not where it needed to be. And I immediately knew, and again, I'm not a doctor, but I've been around enough and I know enough and I've gone through this enough that I knew almost immediately that she's just chronically dehydrated. So I told her, I said, do what your doctor says. Okay. Always listen to your doctor first and foremost, but start drinking more water. Get yourself a water bottle and start drinking more water. You've got to increase your water consumption. A lack of water consumption or being chronically dehydrated will absolutely hurt you when it comes to building muscle and losing fat and your overall fitness. So habit number 1 to healthy in 1 year is start drinking more water. Habit number 2, we're implementing 2 habits this first month, is to start tracking your food. Start tracking your food. Now, what do I mean by that? First of all, purchase a food scale. If you go to our link tree in the bio, we have a food scale. You can click on it, purchase the food scale. Buy yourself a food scale, number 1. Number 2, download a free macro calorie counter to your phone. I told you before, you could use MyFitnessPal, or you can use the one I prefer to use, which is Cronometer. Both of them are fine. I prefer Cronometer. I think you would too, because as part of their free app, you can scan the barcode on the food that you are eating, and it pulls it right up in most cases. So it's very, very handy. Whichever you use, whether it be MyFitnessPal or Cronometer, just download one and start using it. I always recommend, without fail, to use a food scale. Food scales are so much more accurate than if you try to measure your food in volume, like a cup or a tablespoon or a teaspoon. The more precise you can be, the better. This is so important. I'm here to tell you right now, I don't care what you're eating right now. I will care. And eventually we're going to make some changes there. We're going to start moving towards healthful, whole food, single ingredient foods. We're going to start moving to high protein, those kinds of things. But for this month, I just want you to get used to tracking your food. We need to know what you're eating if you are going to make changes. You need to know what you're eating. So for this first month, I don't want you to make any changes. Don't change what you're eating. Just start tracking everything. Start tracking everything you put into your mouth. Don't lick the spoons when you're making cookies. Don't lick the beaters. Don't lick the bowl. Don't do any of that unless you plan on recording it. I want you to start recording everything on a food scale. You're going to be blown away. Because I'll tell you, let's play a little game. Let's play a little game before you start doing this. Estimate, just guess how many calories you're eating every day. Just if someone says, hey, how many calories are you taking in every day? Most of you would say, oh, I have no idea. But if you do have a guess, write it down. Just write it down as you're watching this. Write that guess down and set it aside. Purchase a food scale, download Cronometer or MyFitnessPal, and start tracking every single day what you eat. Everything. If you put a tablespoon of oil in the pan to make your hash browns, you record that oil's calories. If you put coffee creamer in your coffee, you weigh it out. You put the coffee cup on the scale. Black coffee has no calories, so you're okay there. But if you put creamer in your coffee, put that coffee cup on the scale, zero it out, put your creamer in and weigh it and record the calories. Record everything. If you just are bebopping along and you grab a couple M&Ms or a couple chocolate chips and you pop them in your mouth, don't do that before you need to weigh them out. Weigh them out and then pop them in your mouth. Weigh them out and record them. I promise you, you're going to be shocked as you record by how wrong you were when it comes to how many calories you're taking in. The average person underestimates how many calories they consume by up to, believe it or not, up to 50%. They are off by almost 50%. Most people aren't that bad. They'll be maybe off by 30% or 20%, but that's a lot. You know, most of us just go to the cupboard and we make a peanut butter sandwich. We just spoon on the peanut butter and we throw on the jelly and boom, there's a sandwich. We don't weigh the peanut butter. We don't weigh the jelly. We have no idea how many calories that sandwich is. Most of us go to the pantry if we want a quick snack and we grab a handful of mixed nuts, cashews and almonds and all these delicious, and they're great, but we don't realize that that handful is 300 or 400 calories because nuts are very calorie dense. We just don't know what we're consuming. And again, I don't like to use the word enemy when it comes to food because I am not a food fearmonger and I really dislike food fearmongers. Oh, you know a food fearmonger when you see them on social media. They're the fools who are walking down the cereal aisle saying, this is trash and this is crap and this is garbage and this is junk. And they try to scare you. Don't eat this or you're going to kill your family. You know, you might as well just shoot them in the head. Those people drive me crazy. They are clickbait garbage spewers of the internet. I don't like that. But I divert there. I digress. I'm going to use the term enemy. We need to know who the enemy is, what the enemy is before we can attack it. So you need to start tracking your food. Be very accurate. Just make sure that you are watching everything. If you make a complex recipe, you need to weigh every single ingredient. Don't guess. Don't guess. You're going to quickly learn how much you're eating. If you do this every single day for a month, it's going to get to where it's second nature. You're going to start realizing, oh, you eat a lot of the same foods, and it gets easier and easier as you do this. But I encourage you to do it. Get yourself MyFitnessPal or Cronometer today on your phone. They don't cost you anything. Use the free version and get yourself a food scale, go to our link tree in the bio, open up our store, get yourself a food scale. If there's anything else in there that you're interested in purchasing, go ahead and get it. Get yourself a water bottle. So the first month of Habits to Healthy, start drinking more water, staying hydrated, and start tracking all of your food. Become aware of how many calories you're eating. This is beneficial because the MyFitnessPal and Chronometer also calculate your macros. And when we get further into the year, when it comes to our Habits to Healthy in a year, we're going to have a special episode specifically on tracking your macros. What are they? Because we're going to jack your protein up when the time comes. But for now, make no changes. Do not fear. Do not worry. This is a New Year's resolution that you can keep. Increase your water consumption and start tracking everything that you eat. If you do those two things, you will be on your way to healthy in 1 year. Isn't that great? Think about this I know I mentioned it at the beginning. I'm going to mention it again. Think about this. If you start doing this, drinking more water and tracking what you eat, you're going to create these habits. You're going to create these habits. And 12 months from now, you're going to look back and see all of these new things that you've learned and these new things you've implemented. And you're going to be so amazed and so happy with your new body, your new health, your new outlook on life. So join us. Again, just as a reminder, there are going to be PDFs that you can download to help you through every step of Habit to Healthy in a year. But it's so easy to implement. Just start. Step 1, start drinking more water, start tracking what you eat. I'm excited for you to join us on this journey of Habits to Healthy in 1 year here at First Responder Fitness. We're going to be doing it with you. I will be doing it with you. I already know my food and what I take in each day, but you know what? I haven't been tracking every single thing for the last couple months, and I'm going to start again. I'm going to start tracking everything I eat, and I'm going to show you my Chronometer data next time we get together. I'll let you know what I'm doing. So I'm doing it with you. The people here at First Responder Fitness are doing it with you. So bring a friend. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Make sure you share this video because you want to be healthy in a year. You want to develop the habits to healthy in a year. Why don't you bring your family and friends along with you? Boy, I just encourage you. Keep up the good work. Looking forward to a successful year with you. Until next time, be good to yourself, be good to others, and as always, stay safe.